So the title of this video is actually the title of Bella de Paulo's book, same title, Single at Heart. And I think it is an important book for many, many people to read because I think a lot of you will resonate. So one of my earlier videos are talking, well, it's titled, Are Some People Meant to Be Single? And I was talking about this kind of idea of being single at heart, even if you're in a relationship. And it sparked a lot of comments, especially for a small channel like this one, which is growing. I do have a second channel that's bigger. That one is devoted to women and weight loss and HRT and menopause and stuff like that. This one is from the heart. And I often question, whether I should just be single. Maybe I'm single at heart because I have struggled with romantic relationships since adolescence. I haven't found it easy by any means. And I wonder if I'm alone in that or if we all struggle. Some people seem to find their life partner when they're young or at university. They marry their high school sweetheart and it's like happy days, plain sailing, or so it seems. But I know even in a good relationship, there are ups and downs. So I'm not saying that the ones that last don't have their trials and difficulties. I'm sure that they do. But one is never inside someone else's relationship. You don't know. But for me personally, I grew up, my parents got divorced when I was 3. So I grew up in an environment where I knew relationships could not work. And my mom remarried, but my dad never did. And I knew that my parents were not right for each other just as I grew up and could see their personality differences. So maybe that has affected or tainted me. But I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I do believe that some people are single at heart and should be single and are meant to be single and are happier living a single life. That is just my feeling. Not everyone. A lot of people do very well in relationships. And so my feeling, my gut instinct is saying that we shouldn't box people in. Why are we trying to box everyone into the marriage and relationship box? We should just all live and let live. This is how we should all be, just with each other. Live and let live. If somebody is not imposing their beliefs on you and they are not hurting you and they are happy being single, why do we make them feel like there's something wrong with them? That is the question I have. Because maybe you have always enjoyed being single and you are happier during the times when you are single, but society makes you feel like something is wrong with you. Because I do feel like society, it does, especially for females, maybe for males as well, but especially for women. If a woman is single, she is like looked at as this weird thing. What is wrong with her? Well, how dare she? How can she even consider it? Now, if she's a widow, that's far more acceptable. But if a woman has chosen to be single, I have noticed that people are just like, what? That's so weird. Now, I've watched Elizabeth Gilbert through the years, through the interviews, through her books, married, divorced, married, divorced again, then had a female partner. Now she's living on her own and is single, and you can hear the depth of wisdom that comes out of her now. Okay, she's older as well and wiser, but in her latest interviews, now that she's shaved her head as well, the depth that comes out of her. And I believe that as much as they say you grow and you learn about yourself in relationships, I also think you grow and you learn about yourself when you're on your own. When it's just you on your own, you have the time and the space and the quietness to process things, to get to know your real, true self, to listen to that still, quiet voice inside, to bring your nervous system down. Because yes, while relationships can challenge us and we have to grow and question, and it's always dynamic, there's always something going on, there's often a lot of conflict, not always, but often. There's the push between what you want and they want, and relationships, even the good ones, can be very, very challenging and sometimes exhausting when you're on your own and single. To me, it's like this breathing space. And so many of you commented on that last video of mine when the title was, Are Some People Meant to Be Single? So many of you single people commented about the peace that you feel on your own. And I believe you. I think you are right in telling the truth. And I've seen this in other videos on other creators' channels where they talk about singledom and being alone. And almost all the comments talk about the peace that they get when they live alone, which makes me question and wonder about this notion that we are social creatures. Yes, we are social creatures, but so many of us seem to thrive being alone. We seem to crave solitude. We seem to want and or need that alone time, that space to just breathe and be ourselves. Because so many relationships are negative, toxic, in conflict. So what is the answer there? This now I'm asking you guys, what do you think? If we are social creatures, how come so many of us find relationships so draining? Is it because there are now too many people on the planet and we are bumping up against each other all the time in confined spaces? Is it that in days gone by, 200, 300 years ago, we were in huts, we could roam the plains and have a lot of our own space and our own time? I mean, if you think about, let's say, a sheep herder back in the however many footsack years ago, they would be alone all day with the sheep, looking at the stars and the clouds. Maybe that's why there are so many relationships in conflict. Maybe we are too much together nowadays, and maybe in big cities, especially in metropolitan built up areas where everyone's living in basically shoeboxes, maybe that is causing so many relationship conflicts. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Maybe in tribal communities, like I say, you could go out and wander the plains and the fields out in the savannah. I mean, I'm a South African living in Africa, so you could go with just one or two, or maybe on your own with your hunting gear and just walk for days. I don't know. Maybe there is something about modern living that because we are all stressed, you put us in a home together and then there's two stressed adults and that causes conflict. But it does seem that, at least it appears that way to me, so many relationships are in turmoil and so many people are finding peace being alone. And I've noticed a trend right here on YouTube, on social media. The older people, more and more, are saying that they just want to be alone, live alone. They just want their own space. They are tired of people. If you just sort of Google or scroll on YouTube, like, I just want to be alone or whatever, so many videos come up with this title of just wanting to be alone. Now, I know that being single is different to wanting to be alone, but it's kind of similar. Because if you are a single person, you would ideally probably live alone. Maybe you have housemates or flatmates, but you would still have your own space, your own bedroom, your own section of the house, your own, maybe you live on a commune or something, I don't know. But I think being single addresses that need for space and solitude and aloneness. Now, I argue that that can work for so many people. And then some of you have brought up this concept of LAT, living apart together, which I've said before on this channel. I like that idea. I find that idea to be intriguing and something that I would probably look for if I ever got into a relationship again, where you each have your own homes or spaces. I mean, it could be within the same home, maybe. So maybe your own bedrooms or your own wings of the house. You have your own space, your own time, your own independence, but you come together as well, because single people still want company. It's not that they don't want community. It's not that they want to be isolated and turn their backs on society. So I think that's where we can say we are social creatures, but we still need alone time and solitude. And so we want to create community. We want to do things that help other people. I mean, look at me now. I'm here at home, well, alone. My son's in the bedroom studying or something at home, but I'm still looking to connect with a community by sharing these ideas. These are ideas that I want to share with other people. So, yes, I don't want to be completely alone, but I do believe that I am single at heart in that I value alone time, I value freedom, I value a sense of independence. I don't want to be, this is what was my dad's favorite saying, you don't want to live in the other person's pocket. Two people should be individuals on their own 2 feet and then come together. It shouldn't be this codependent mingling of everything. So I would say I am single at heart, but it's not that I don't ever want to be in relationship with someone. I do think that that is beautiful, and I do think that we need other people. We do. No man is an island. We cannot live completely isolated. Well, I suppose you could, but I think you would go mad. So I think that there is a nice balance, and we each need a different mix of togetherness and aloneness. And we need to determine what our individual mix is. I'm somebody who thrives on a lot more solitude and aloneness than somebody else. However, somebody might thrive on a lot of togetherness and a lot of relationship and need far less alone time to feel whole. And I think that is a question we each need to answer for ourselves. And so I think it's less about, are you single at heart, but more about how much aloneness do you need in your life and how much community and togetherness do you need. So I'll leave you with those thoughts. I hope that this was an interesting video for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.